Hey everyone, welcome. This episode is brought to you by our Equip, Empower, Elevate newsletter. Each month in our newsletter, you will find stories, thought provoking questions, and more to empower and inspire you to live life fully. If you would like to receive our monthly newsletter, go to our website becomingfierceentrepreneurs.com. All right, grab your paper and pencil, and I'll be right back. And thank you for tuning in today. Our mission is to equip and empower you to dig in and soar higher, doing the things that you love. So get ready to live life fully. Welcome everyone to another episode of Living. This is episode 35, Finding Joy in Entrepreneurship. So most of you know me, but for those of you who do not know me, my name is Joy Norman. I'm an empowerment and success coach. And in a few moments, I'm going to be talking to Artie. All right, I think she's here. Well, hello, Artie.
Hi.
I am so happy to talk to you today.
Me as well, Joy. It's been a long time coming.
Yes, and I am so excited about this subject. Our topic today is finding joy in entrepreneurship.
I love that little bell.
So, are you ready to dive in?
I sure am.
All right, well, let's start with you briefly tell us about yourself.
Well, I am a happiness coach and I'm also an organization ninja because I started off as a happiness coach, but then the more I interacted with my clients, with entrepreneurs, I realized that a lot of ladies needed help creating a structure around their business in order to make room for their own growth and for me time. We didn't quit our our corporate 9 to 5 jobs to fail at entrepreneurship. So that's something that because that also ties up with being happy for entrepreneurs. So I'm a happiness coach plus organization ninja.
I love that. Yeah. So many small business owners feel like they don't have the luxury of making time for themselves. And it's just so easy for us to get busy running our business that we forget about ourselves. And I'm guilty of this as well. So I want to start by asking you, what does self-care look like for a business owner?
Self-care looks like not thinking about work 24/7, right? Your entrepreneur brain should not take over your life. I know we're all very excited about this, all the new ideas that we have in terms of that we want to bring into fruition, the growth plans that we have for our business, and everything is under our leadership when it comes to our business. But I find that a lot of entrepreneurs do not take time for themselves, even if it is just downtime from their work. Like working more than 7 to 8 hours a day or a 9 hour day, after that, you need time to have a life. Like, isn't that one of the main reasons you quit entrepreneurship? So, self care, for example, for me, self care is as simple as shutting off my laptop and not looking at it till the next morning, going and sitting with my family, taking care of my home responsibilities, maybe calling a friend and chatting with them, or just shutting down and having a glass of wine and watching something on Netflix. That's what self-care for beginners looks like.
Yes, you need time for that bubble bath. Look, that cup of tea.
Yes, I have mine
Yes.
as well.
I think I'll take, oh, your cup is beautiful too.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, you have to spend, I love what you said too. You have to spend time with your family. And it's kind of like you said, that's why, for me, that's why I became an entrepreneur because I wanted the freedom. I wanted
Yes.
the freedom, to take off when I wanted to take off. And that was one of the things that I saw my mom as an entrepreneur. She was able to come up to my school and bring cupcakes And she was able to take time off and take me to the doctor, and I always wanted that freedom that she had. I thought that was great. And, taking care of yourself means taking care of your business. And it is a form of maintenance, same as maintaining your home, maintaining your car. It's just only for your mind, your body, and your soul. And I read this quote somewhere that says there's a reason they call it recreation, because it's about recreating yourself.
Here's the thing. What I have found is that people who, there was this Harvard study that I was reading, which said that there's only about 6 hours of focused work that the average person can do, which means that if you are doing more than 6 hours of heavy lifting with your brain, after that, that muscle needs a rest to do unfocused activities. And during those unfocused activities is where you get your best ideas, right? Yeah. That's where your creativity, the flow time kicks in. For example, some of the best idea times for me is when I'm just standing in front of the stove and making myself a cup of tea, where I'm not running around. I'm just standing there, brewing the tea, waiting for the water to heat, and my brain is unfocused, and then a lot of puzzle pieces fall together. So like I take those breaks after every couple of hours of work time. And your work may be your passion, and when you started it, it might have looked like self-care to you, because that's what it did for me. It was like, this is what I do for myself, is I do happiness coaching. It was a big part of my own happiness. But when it turned into a business, I had to take time away from it because I had to know my limits. I couldn't take like 10 calls in one day and then the next day not be able to wake up and get up from bed.
Yes, oh my God. I love that you say stand in front of and watch the pot. Look, isn't that nice? We get to be at home and stand in front of a pot and watch it boil. No. You know what? Every time you say happiness,
you're going to ring the bell?
Yeah. I may have to ring the bell. Everybody take a sip of their tea.
Tea, yes, it's time to take a sip of the tea.
Yes, but I agree. We have to recognize the importance of self-care and practice it. Yes. And we need to, take time.
We think about it, but self-care somehow seems to be for other people because we are not implementing it on ourselves.
Yeah. Relaxation improves creativity.
Yes.
So,
it absolutely does.
When you're relaxed, you're often, open-minded, and then you can think outside of the box because you're not so stressed out, which leads to more ideas and solutions, right? Yeah. So, Artie, if you keep going, you will hit a breaking point and you'll probably burn out. And Artie, do you have clear work-related boundaries for yourself? And if so, what systems do you have set in place to ensure that you enforce these boundaries?
So one of the ways that I keep myself accountable and don't, like you said, burnout is a very real thing. And I'm very passionate about this because this is something which I faced a lot of during my corporate career. I'm the all or nothing type of personality. So when I enjoyed my job, I would be working 14, 16 hours a day. And I could only sustain that for a certain period of time, because after that, my body was like, no, I need rest. My brain was like, I need rest. So when I started my business, my goal was to make it sustainable for myself. And the only, your business is not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? If I want to sustain my work hours or the degree at which I am growing over a period of a year or 2 years, I need to have sustainability. And in order to do that, I need to make sure that I balance rest and my family along with my work, right? So I set work hours in place. And these work hours are built around my life. My work schedule is built around my life, not the other way around. And the clear boundaries that I have with like my clients or with my family is that On the weekends, I do not respond. Weekends is my time. 5 days of 5 days a week is good enough. So any clients that I take on, I always let them know that the weekends I will not respond unless at least about work things. The other thing that I have set in place for myself is I have family responsibilities, and I've kind of cushioned them at the beginning of my workday and at the end of my workday. So I know I have to get up and go. So, and my family helps keep me accountable because they'll be at the door and they'll be like, can we have dinner now? Can we have breakfast now? It's time for school. Can we go shopping? Can we do this? So this is something which, external boundaries are also having to be set sometimes because I get carried away. I'm passionate about what I do, and sometimes I get carried away.
Yeah.
So my family helps keep me in check.
Yeah, I can relate to those. Family can help enforce those boundaries.
Yeah, and a very simple way to, with your family, you can ask them to help. But with your clients, a lot of people find it very difficult to set those boundaries. And in my case, in order not to have difficult conversations, what I've done is I've set up my Calendly and I'm like, you can see my availability here. If I'm not available here, that means I'm not available. I use my family as an excuse. I'm like, no, I have to go and be with them.
Yeah, I love you talking about the time, because there's a song by the Steve Miller Band. And I'm not sure if you're old enough to remember it, but it goes something like, time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. And the title of the song is I Want to Fly Like an Eagle. Oh, I love this song. And so tell us, how do you manage your time and prioritize what you put your energy towards executing so that you can fly like an eagle?
In my overall life, something that I started practicing a couple of years ago was intentional living, right? I realized that that I was letting a whole bunch of unnecessary, unimportant stuff take up space and time in my life. And unlike money, you cannot earn your time back, right? So I wanted to be very intentional about where I was putting my time. And I started with my personal life, but then I also started applying it to my business. And I found that it was much easier to apply it to my business than to my personal life. So in my business, I have a set working calendar, which runs from Monday to Friday. And out of that, I'm quite structured in the way I set up my calendar because I'm still in a new growth phase. So I have dedicated number of hours which are set towards about 40 to 50% of my time, or actually about 60% of my time is towards paid client activities. And those take precedence. Those are the priority of my work week. Then comes business housekeeping. I spend about 4 to 5 hours on business housekeeping, which are not paid client activities, but they keep my business afloat and they keep me from going insane. And then, following up on emails, delegating work, distribution of any information that my clients might need, all of these kind of things, which are very necessary, making sure that my calendar for next week is set up, planning my week ahead. All of these things are, planning is 90% of the battle. Yes. And then I spend about 8 to 10 hours a week on growth activities. So by prioritizing what's important each week, I plan a week ahead. And then I see, okay, these are the number of client hours I need to be working. Those go into my calendar first. Then comes my business housekeeping activities. And whatever time is left, that I spend on working on new ideas. And then I also prioritize them by order of importance. What's coming up next versus what I can build for 6 months later.
Wow. Okay. You're not only flying, you're soaring. That is awesome. Now, I use a productivity planner to, identify my priorities, and I even built in my breaks. I built in my breaks in my
absolutely
schedule, in my weekly schedule. And now I take time off. and I only work 4 days a week. I used to work 6.
That's the dream, right?
Yeah, it's taking me a while though. So don't, hey, ladies, do not compare yourself to me, because it has taken me a while to get to 4 days, and they're not the same 4 days. I just I pick and choose based on, just like my mom did, around my appointments and what I have going on with my family.
Perfect.
Yep. Also, Artie, I've learned to say no early.
Yes.
Yeah, early in my business. And you probably heard me say this. No is a complete sentence.
Yes.
Yep. And so I try not to skip breaks too, because it's important to stick to your routine. And then the other thing, have you done this, Artie? Do you separate your workspace? Did you say you do that?
Yes, I have a separate office where I come and do my work. I have very clear boundaries around my workspace. So with regards to work, I have my own little office that I come and sit in. It's the same place that I sit in. You'll always see this wall behind me. That's when I'm working, right? And when I'm not working, I don't come into this space. I make sure. So I just tell people I have to treat my home office like I was still going to work. If I treat it like working from home, like really working from home, where I'm working from my bed, I would be working way more hours than I would, that would be reasonable for me to make it sustainable.
Man, you just said a mouthful there, because I was guilty of walking back into the office. I'd hear the email chime, or I'd see something on my desk. Next thing you know, I'm sitting down and working.
And with all this technology, with you receiving your emails on the phone, with you receiving your all the dings and messages, instant messaging, everything, it makes it really hard to have these boundaries between your work and your home. But once I leave my office in the night, I'm not coming back till tomorrow morning. I literally treat it like I was traveling 5 miles to go to my workplace, because otherwise it becomes really hard to maintain those boundaries. I can text back, but I'm not going, anything that requires me to go to my email and actually do work is not happening once I've left the office.
Now, I have never taken karate or anything, but I do this procedure where I bow out my office. I back out the door and I bow out, meaning I'm not coming back. I've seen people do that.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's about training yourself, right? You have to say no. Like you said, I love the word no, because that is one of the reasons why I create a structure around my working hours, and I have bucketized how many hours I'm going to spend on different items which are important for my priority and for my growth and for getting the bills paid. And anything that does not fit into, how we have this habit of saying yes to a whole bunch of stuff, and then we're like playing calendar Tetris to figure out where we're going to fit it all in. But having those clear demarcated hours helps me figure out, okay, do I have time for this or not? I can clearly see my calendar and be like, okay, no, this is a no. I can do it the week after. I can make time for it, 3 weeks from now, but not this week.
Yeah, you know what? And I've heard you talk about the Eisenhower Matrix. And so that's a nice triage system for your tasks. You want to talk about that just a little bit?
Sure. The Eisenhower Matrix is a way to prioritize your tasks, right? So importance and then urgency. So you have urgent but not important. You delegate that. Not urgent but important, we schedule that, and then or we decide on what to do with that. And then not important and not urgent, those go into the delete pile. Or in my case, I call it my to-do wish list, because those are all the tasks I'm hoping one day I will have enough time to do, but they're really not important to my business right now in today's date. And that's where I save a lot of time by having that plan and knowing where I'm putting my time. There is this analogy that I give to my clients, which is that we've all heard that saying, time is money. right? Time is money. But if you look at, we need to budget our time the same way that we budget our money. So if you look at your, let's say your monthly salary, right? You get it at the beginning of every month. The first thing we do is we pay our bills. These are the essentials that we have to do to pay, to keep, the electricity running, to keep our internet on, and all of, pay the rent so that we are not homeless and all of those things. Then we put away some money either for a rainy day, or we spend it on other things that are pending from the past, maybe pay off an extra credit card bill. And then comes the flex money, which we can use towards fun, or saving for a rainy day, or any of those future activities, saving for a holiday. Money, your time when it comes to business also needs to be budgeted exactly the same way. You need to have, first come your client tasks, then come your business housekeeping tasks, then come, because this way you have this priority. Your growth activities are usually in the, like the flex money. You can, they're not imperative to keep your business going right now. So this is, this is part of that Eisenhower matrix, and how you budget your time. So all the things that are not important and not urgent, which are the fun things, need to be moved into the available time slots after we've done the important work, which is providing client deliverables and done the essentials of housekeeping for our business.
Yeah, I love that. Budget your time like you do your expenses. That's really good. Yeah,
If
yeah.
you have a deadline for today, you cannot schedule that work for tomorrow. That becomes urgent and important, especially when that deadline is from a paying client who's already paid you cash up front, or is going to pay you cash on delivery. You need to finish that work today. That is urgent and important. Do, or something that might, like sending out invoices to your clients when they're overdue, sending reminders to them. Those are in your urgent and important activities,
Yeah.
right? Whereas meeting with potential clients would be under the schedule or decide category, because you only have so many hours in the day. If we spend all our time in discovery calls, that's under the growth bucket.
Yeah.
Where are you going to, how are you going to serve those clients, those potential clients? If they sign up, where will you fit them into your calendar if your calendar is already full with paid clients? Feel that this is where a lot of entrepreneurs that I've been working with, that this is where they struggle, is they want to say yes to any potential new client, to have a discovery call, to have a chat. They're willing to say yes, but the right way to be doing it is to see whether you actually have time for that yes. Because if you are saying yes to a discovery client who's going to take an hour of your time, and you have pending client work to complete, then guess what? That extra hour has to go somewhere else, and it's usually going to go out of your me time.
There you go. Yeah. And so this, you really need this. This is very important for your business. Whether you've been running your business for a while, or you're just thinking about starting a business, please don't skip this step, because this is the part that makes you happy or bring the joy in being an entrepreneur, because that's what causes people to burn out and start like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not fun. And we want to keep it happy.
we want to wake up and look at and feel charged up to go to work every day, not be like, I mean, if you have to feel like that, you might as well have continued with your 9 to 5 corporate job. At least that you would have security in terms of getting money every month, right? If you're burning yourself out here, at least they'll kick you out of the office at 5 p.m.
Yeah. Yes, I know, huh?
Yeah.
Yes. And you know what, though? Your clients will learn to respect that. They'll respect you more, Yeah.
Because every time you show up, you're going to show up as your best self. You're rested, you're charged up, your brain is clear. You have, you're going to bring that clarity over to their business, and come up with your best solutions, provide them your best service, rather than showing up, with 25% of your brain asleep, the other 25 worried about, not having enough rest, or just stressed out and tired. You need to show up I mean, it's like, for me, I would rather work fewer hours, quality over quantity. I don't want to work for 10 hours. If I can do the same amount of work in 6 hours, that's all I need to do.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I respect that, and like all my clients respect that too. They want me to be my best self. Yeah. And sometimes if you need to reschedule, it's okay. They will forgive you. It's okay.
We're all human. We all understand.
Things happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is journaling part of your writing life? Keeping a writing journal is a great way to empower your thoughts and ideas. You can use them for note taking, daily journaling, spiritual or gratitude, or for poetry work. Introducing our journal kits. They are compact for carrying in your bag. In this kit, you will receive a journal and one of our bright and colorful matching coffee cups to enjoy your morning beverage with. Also, it comes with a beautiful tote bag to carry it all in. You can take our tote bags with you to the beach, on the plane, going shopping, or for a girls' night out. You will fall in love with these gorgeous bags. Our customers love the beautiful artwork printed on both sides of the bag. Go to our website at becomingfierceentrepreneurs.com and click on the tools and resources page to pick up these items today. Also, grab an extra kit to give away as a gift for that special person that likes to journal, keep track of affirmation, take notes, or track their to-do list. Just visit our website at becomingfierceentrepreneurs.com and click on the tools and resources page. I do want to ask you, Artie, have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? And if so, how did you deal with it?
I did, actually. There was a period of time where I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have the support of my family and my husband and all of these people in my life. They were like, nobody's going to pay you money for this. What are you doing? You don't have a degree in psychology, or you don't have the required certifications for what you're doing. But I really enjoyed it. And I could see that I was creating a transformation. I started as a volunteer, right? I did not start as a business. And I decided that I'll take a year to just experiment. I'll give myself some time to work through the best way out of imposter syndrome is practice, practice, practice until you believe you're good enough, right? At least that's the way I look at it. If I don't know something, the more I work at it, I become the expert eventually. So for me, the action, I decided I'm going to meet with so many clients. I'm going to talk to as many people as I can. Or even when it came to starting up my business as a business, the first couple of months, I was like, let me first network. Let me talk to as many clients as I can, potential clients. I spoke to, and I'm an introvert, so this was a challenge for me, but I spent time talking to tons of ladies, like tens, and I wouldn't say over 100 ladies, but I must have spoken to at least 100 ladies, heard their problems, done the research, and with with every conversation, I could figure out who I could help and who I couldn't help. A lot of the imposter syndrome comes when you feel like you're out of your depth.
Yeah.
But the more people you talk to, the more you learn about yourself, about what your limitations are, who are your ideal clients. You can sit and meditate on it, but the best way to get that answer, to get that clarity about who you should be serving and who you would be perfect for, and do it confidently without feeling like you're not good enough or comparing yourself with the experts in your mind, is to talk to your client base. They may not be your clients. Consider it market research, consider it training need analysis, whatever, coaching need analysis, but talk to people. The more people you talk to, better you will know your subject. Have
Yeah.
those conversations, show up for free. And I did a lot for a lot of things. I showed up for free just so that I could hone my skills
Yeah.
until people were willing to pay me for it. And well, now I don't have, with the first paying client that I got, I was like, okay, all my imposter syndrome's gone now. And that wasn't even a client that paid me cash, it was a barter client. Somebody was willing to barter their services with me for a few $1,000s worth of coaching. That was the day that I knew, okay, people are willing to take this for free and they are willing to pay me for it as well. So
Yeah.
I don't need to feel like an imposter.
No, you are not. You don't have to, ladies, you do not have to devalue your worth.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised that how many people, because nobody can do it like you. Everyone, even if you feel like the lane is crowded and there's a lot of people better than me, guess what? They are not you. They don't bring the personality, the flavor that you have. A lot of introverts are attracted to me. I'm an extrovert. And I kept wondering, why are these introverts attracted to
We
me?
want to be like you, Joy. We want to be that comfortable showing up and talking to people. But that was something I had to do. I had to push myself out there.
Yeah.
And I talked to days after days, I spent networking. I spent showing up. The more people I talked to, the less of an imposter I felt like. And the key is to not spend all your time talking to people who you look up to. The key is to spend time talking to people who you can help.
You need both people you look up to and people you can help. And when you find someone to look up to and admire, you are challenged and encouraged and enlightened. And trust me, you will get burned out by helping so many people. You need people to speak into your life and pour back into you. And then you are better equipped to help others. Having a coach, a mentor, and spiritual advisors that you respect and work with will help you tap into parts of you beyond your mind and your body. You know, you work hard. It's not all by luck. We have to practice saying these 6 words. I'm proud of what I've accomplished. Okay,
Yes.
say it with me, ladies. I'm
proud
of what I've
I have
accomplished.
Yes, I am. And here's the thing, don't let anybody tell you that you're spending all your time chit-chatting with ladies. If like this was something which my family did, I don't know, maybe other ladies have this problem too, is they would be like, you're just talking to people. This was me learning about my audience. This was me networking, talking to potential clients. But because they couldn't see a tangible cash benefit, they were like, you're just, you're just wasting time chit-chatting with people. But the truth is, that was like a learning ground for me. That was networking for me. And networking is not working. Count all that time towards your work hours, because when you show up, so do your clients, and so does a lot of good things.
That's more than 50% of coaching is chatting with people. Most people actively listen to them. Yeah.
You have to, unless you listen, you're never going to know what your clients' problems are. And you have to have that as a friendly conversation.
Come on, girl, you're preaching today. Oh my goodness, yes. Ladies, you deserve it. You are enough. Yes, you're not a fraud.
No, not at all.
Yes.
You know what you're doing. You just have to trust in yourself and believe that you know what you're doing. You have lived through it. Many of the entrepreneurs that I have had the pleasure to talk to have, they have learned through actual life experiences. And that how can they be imposters if they have lived through it and come out on the other side fighting?
Right. You're telling your story.
Yeah, you're telling your story. You're doing
and that's
things
why I
the
was
way
saying nobody else. I could go to 2 people who do what you do, Artie, but I may resonate with you more Yeah, and you'll be able to help me because your story is similar, and you get me.
Yeah, I understand. I understand you in a way they may not be able to.
Yeah.
Or you might find that there is somebody else who understands. And as we grow through different phases of life, the people who understand us also change because we change, we grow, right? So while I may understand you right now, 1 year from now, you might need somebody different to help you because at that time you're in a different phase and I'll be in a different phase. So
yeah, and that's why I like to network. I join different networks so I can go, oh, Artie can help you, different people. Susan can help you with this. Yep,
absolutely.
I love it. Yes. Okay, Artie, I can't wait to talk about this. Learning how to ask for and accept help is perhaps one of the greatest skills you can develop as an entrepreneur, but it is so hard to do. So, Artie, how do you ask for help? And are you willing to receive the help that is offered?
Yes, and yes. And this is very, so this was a personal challenge that I had to overcome before coming back into business, right? I was one of those people who wanted to help everybody, but had great difficulty asking for help. But when here is the thing, when I started openly asking for things, asking for help, a lot of people said yes. And it was encouraging. And my father used to have a saying, ask, what's the worst that'll happen? They'll say no. And I took that to I literally, it was hard to implement it, but I was like, I swore to myself, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to ask for help. I'm not going to, for example, it started with something as simple as I find it very difficult to write content, or I find it difficult to show up on video. So I had to start asking my friends or other entrepreneurs and seeking collaborations where they could help me, right? Help doesn't always need to be asked for in so many words, like, can you please help me? It is not, it doesn't necessarily need to come from a weak place. When I ask for help, I'm making sure that I'm also offering something that the other person may need. That was the starting point. If I'm showing up for them, and I ask them to help me in exchange with something that I'm struggling with, well, it doesn't feel quite as difficult. And yes, the more I asked for help, the easier it became. So I'm like, okay, I can count on these people. I had to trust the fact that if somebody said no, it was okay. I could always ask somebody else. Just one person's rejection was not going to keep me down.
Yeah, I love that you said, what's the worst thing that can happen? Because that's where I look at everything running my business. I go, ooh, if I hit the line, or if I go ask someone, or, I go, what's the worst thing that can happen? And what I found, though, Artie, is most of the time it's fear. We're fearful of the answer because we're not sure, if you're going to say yes or if you're going to say no. Say it's coming from somewhere. So we have to rewire our brains. And you'll be surprised to know how many women out there are just waiting for you to ask them for help. And there is a great satisfaction that people get from mentoring and uplifting others. And I found that out because I've been running my business for a while. And then take me, for example, when I started this YouTube podcast show, I didn't think people would want to come on the show and talk to me, right? And then I didn't think I would get subscribers, but I just knew, Artie, there was just something deep down inside of me that other women were struggling with. And then there was just something that I could share. And then I could also use this platform for other speakers to come and share and encourage and uplift others. So you know what I did? I stepped out on faith, and look at us now.
Absolutely.
I just want to thank all of our subscribers who support us. I receive it. Keep it coming. Ladies, ask for help. especially when things get tough.
And you'll be surprised at how many people are willing to step up. Uh, you just, it, even if it started with a simple thing, when I wanted a small thing, I was initially very taken aback by how many people volunteered to help me out. I had never realized that there were so many people looking out for me, and help came from the most unexpected sources. And it wasn't, from whom I expected. So I just had to put that out into the universe and be like, I need help, and
Yeah.
help would arrive.
Yeah. And I know that, you're in a good place. We, went through struggles. I'm in a good place, but it doesn't mean something will not happen, because something always happened.
Yeah.
2020, 2021. And so it can be hard to experience joy while your company is struggling. I get it, because it takes a strong sense of values, passion, and commitment. Which brings me to another question, Artie. What advice would you give an aspiring entrepreneur that wants to launch their hobby and their passion to make more income, but they may be fearful to put themselves out there? What would you say to that person?
I would say try it. Start small. Start with your comfort zone, but start, right? Most aspiring entrepreneurs, they let their fear consume them and don't even get to the starting line. Just start. Post that one piece of content. From Give yourself a title. Like for me, the day I assigned a title to myself, the day I was willing to say I'm a happiness coach or I'm an organization ninja, that's the day I actually started thinking about it like work instead of just something I enjoyed doing. And it made it so much easier to promote myself in front of the right audience. Talk to people, put feelers out there. When I started, I didn't start with I need to get a client or whatever, because all that fear comes up. Oh my god, what if they say no, and all of that. So I started very gently on myself, because I didn't want a whole bunch of people saying no to me, and I'm like terrible at selling myself. So I started very simply. I started putting feelers out there. I started helping people. I started working with people for free initially, because I wanted to have control over who I am working with, especially during my the beginning of my business. I didn't want a paying client to be calling the shots on me. I was still finding my sea legs, right? And just start. It's the small steps. Even if you're feeling fearful, if you feel fearful, and I have felt fearful, at that time I didn't charge any money. When I was showing up feeling scared, I didn't charge any money. I started showing up for free, and then people started offering to pay me money for my services.
Yeah.
Because they saw the value. So I didn't even have to begin by having a very difficult conversation with my first client. It was so easy. Just they were like, okay, now, because I was like, I'll offer you this amount of time for free. And after that, and it was like training grounds for me as well. I was learning the ropes, I was gaining experience, and it didn't feel so scary, because I was like, I need to make money right now. And I'd given myself a target. That's another thing that I would tell aspiring entrepreneurs. There are a few things, right? One is give yourself a goal. Set yourself a goal in terms of time. Give yourself 3 or 4 months within which you will get your first client.
That's
And it
good.
should be a realistic goal
Yeah.
of by when you're going to get your first client. If paying client, and if you don't get that, for me, I had a month or like 3 months. If I didn't make a paying client by then, I would go get a job, a part-time job, to start making some money while still working on my business. Because if in 3 months I didn't get my first client, there was something wrong in the way I was doing business at that point. So I needed more time to figure out how to tighten up the ship and how to clarify my message or whatever it was. So if I gave myself that goal, and luckily for me, by my third month, I found my first client, and I was like, okay, by now I have narrowed down. Targets and goals are important. I mean, even though we are working on ourselves and we're working for ourselves, and these are our passions and hobbies, converting the, if you don't give yourself a solid target, you're going to end up procrastinating. Okay, I'm going to take another 15 days. I'm going to take another 20 days. And you won't narrow down into that goal orientation mindset. And if you want to be a business owner, you need to have a business brain. And the second thing is that you need to have a structure for your business. This is the second business that I've built out of my hobbies or my passions. And I learned in my first one that it's great that I have a hobby, but that could not filter into my business in terms of the way I showed up for my hobby was not going to be the way that I would show up for my business. I had to create a structure around my business. I had to have a proper plan in terms of, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. These are my work hours. This is where I'm going to show up. There has to be some sort of structure, even if it's just a framework within which you grow. You have to have a framework and goals, deadlines that you put on yourself, because that will make you work in a more structured way. It'll streamline the way you think and what you're spending your time on.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I'm going to piggyback off of some of it too. I love, the structure, the framework, the plan. Also be flexible.
Yes.
Be flexible, ladies. And I love that you said start for free, because it's good to beta test.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. If you feel fulfilled doing it for free and you're happy, you have something there. You have something. And then most people go, oh no, but I want to pay you. I want to pay you. And when people start throwing money at you because you're doing it for free, that's how a lot of people who bake cakes and cupcakes and stuff and cookies, that's how they got started. They was giving them out for Christmas, and birthdays, and people start going, wait a minute, I want to order.
Because when you show up, so for me, it's about when I show up and do work for free, it's about me rather than them.
Yes.
There's no pressure. There's no pressure of serving a paid client. When I do these free services, I'm not expecting that person to turn into a client unless they really want it. For me, it's like, free testing. So I show up without any pressure. I show up the way I am. I show up in my power. I do not show up with that fear of money hanging over my head. And I told myself I would take on these many free clients, or this is when I would feel comfortable starting to charge money. So a lot of people think doing free work is just to get people in. It's a complimentary session to hook a new client and all of that. I do not provide complimentary sessions for potential clients. I charge them an introductory price. I do not provide free services anymore. It's but I did a lot for like a year or so. I just experimented, and at that time I would, even if they wanted to pay me, I was like, no, it's fine. This is my free. I don't want the pressure of having to meet your expectations.
Yeah, and that's why we are so attracted to you. That's why we all want to work with you. So ladies, I say stop fearing failure. I'll say talk to other entrepreneurs who have failed. Wait a minute. Talk to other entrepreneurs who have failed, and then ask them what happened in their lives post failure. And me speaking from experience, it does get easier if you just keep going. And then I want to add, take time, like we started off with, self-care, meditation, devotion, prayer, drink plenty of water, get rest.
Give yourself realistic goals, not like I'm going to make $50,000 in the first 3 months of starting my business.
Yes, be realistic. I say, talk to others, find out about different people's programs, because you don't have to go it alone.
One of the best things about um, one of my favorite things to do as an entrepreneur is to, the first things I do as soon as I start a business is to make friends in that industry. Because when you have friends, everything is better with friends, isn't it?
Yes. We have a community. And you know what? God made it that way. He intended for it to be that way so that we would have to have relationships with others. Artie, what would you say is your greatest achievement?
Being happy.
Oh.
Being happy with myself, loving myself unconditionally, I think has been my greatest achievement to date. I mean, there are other things that I've done in my materialistic life or my physical life, but I think creating self-love has been, and I'm taking it into my business also now. That has been my greatest achievement. Just feeling happy inside, feeling content with my life.
Yes, being content. That's, when you're content, you're living in your purpose. You're walking in your purpose. God made us all on purpose for a purpose. And it's nothing like when you can feel that contentment of like, hey, I'm living in my purpose. Yeah, this is what I'm meant to do. I got this.
I always tell people happiness is evidence of your soul being in alignment.
Yes.
And I'm happy. So I think that is my greatest achievement.
Yes. And it's nothing like it when you can help women find their purpose, help them walk into their calling. Yes. And profit from their passion. It's nothing like it, man, because like I said, we're all called to serve a portion of the universe. And there is someone out there that needs your services, ladies. So come on, don't be afraid. Go ahead and start that business or keep it going. Even if you've hit a roadblock,
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Find a better way, find an alternate way. Giving up, instead of giving up, slow down if you need to. But be creative about your solutions instead of giving up.
Oh, yes. Ooh, you heard it here. That is so awesome. Finding joy in entrepreneurship, because most people think that, oh, this is going to be a lot of work and, I can't do it. And there are so many people now that help you with startups and it'll help you. And I love what you do, the project management that you do.
Helping people get a handle on their work-life balance, about finding time for self-care so that they can actually find joy in entrepreneurship rather than overwhelm and stress and, running around in small circles.
And I love your title, that organization ninja. I like that.
My team calls me that, so I was like, that's going to be the name of my new business.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, mine is a passionate gold miner.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I have my shovel and everything, and I help women dig in. I help you dig in and get that work done. Yes. So what is one thing you would like to leave with people before we wrap today?
If you are not having fun running your business, take a look at where your time is going. Why don't you have time for yourself? Why did you become an entrepreneur? For me, it was about freedom, financial freedom to follow my passions and be my own boss. The freedom to be flexible with my time so that I could build my life around my schedule. So that would be the one thing that I would like to leave with people. Build your schedule around your life and not your life around your schedule. Because that's when you will have flow. That's when you'll be able to show up without having a bunch of other things, on your brain.
Yep. I love that. Make sure you building in those breaks.
Those breaks, the personal time to eat, time to just have white space between calls, overflow time. You should have time for everything in a day, in a week. And if you don't, then you're doing too much. Something's got to be crossed off that list.
I love that you said those built in that white space in between calls, because I started off, I was doing live events, in person rather events, right? And so once I got on Zoom and started doing them on Zoom, I was taking appointments and I did not build in that space. And so I had people emailing me while I'm still on a call going, I'm waiting here on Zoom, you know. And so, yes.
You're always running late.
Yeah, always running late and running like, oh, sitting down, going, okay, you know. And
you always start off with an apology instead of showing up powerfully. You're like, I'm so sorry. And then it takes you 5 minutes to get unhassled. Like, I like to have at least 15 minutes before every call so that I can just come sit here, get all my pen and paper and everything ready and not show up late.
Go.
Yeah.
Yes, but that's funny that you say that, and I love that. That is so important, Artie. And they have tools and apps that you can do that. And so now I am doing that. And so I like to end with this thought. The more you grow as an entrepreneur, the larger challenges will be over time. But give yourself permission to feel joy again as you continue to wrestle with the challenges, because it's important to enjoy the journey now. Okay. So when you are having fun and you're engaged, you know, time flies. And time just flew with us, Artie. I can't believe it's over.
We'll meet again, though.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really enjoy talking to you. So how can we get in touch with you?
You can visit my website, and I think Joy will leave a link to it in the description. So you can contact me there, or you can find me on Facebook under Aarti Achar. I'm part of Joy's group. So if you are in her group, you can just search for me in her group. And that's another good way to get in touch with me.
Yes. I'm hoping you ladies reach out to Artie. And thank you again for coming on the show. I really enjoyed talking to you today.
Me as well. Thank you for having me, Joy.
So this concludes another episode of Living. Thank you so much. I enjoyed talking to my special guest, Artie. Thank you so much, Artie, for coming on today and talking with us. She gave us so many nuggets, and I really enjoyed her. So make sure, if you haven't already, you subscribe to our channel. Please tell a friend. All right. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed rest of the week. We will see you back here on another episode of Living. Bye-bye.